Hi, I'm Sage and I'm 14 years old. Gosh, how living in Portugal is different than living in the US. Back home, I lived in a house, and here I now live in an apartment, so I think that's very different for me. It's a lot to get used to. Also, I would say people speak Portuguese here, right? It's Portugal, and I only speak English, so I think it's hard getting the grip of the language and how it works.
What's been the hardest part of moving and living abroad?
It's a lot of change. It really just like everything's just different. I think that's the hardest part about moving abroad.
What's been the best part of moving and living abroad?
The best part is the beach and the food, and I think traveling, because like the food here is really, really good and really, really fresh. And back home, I couldn't really live by the beach, and the beach being here seems really cool. And I love traveling, and traveling to certain places like London back home would take like a day, and here it'd take like 2 hours. So I think that's really cool.
What's been the best thing you've done so far in Portugal?
I think the best thing I've done so far in Portugal is eat my way through Portugal.
How does school in Portugal compare to school in the US?
Back home, I was in a public school, and now I'm in a private school, and so that's really different. But also, like, I wear a uniform now, and back home, I didn't wear a uniform. I could just wear like pretty much whatever I wanted. I also think the way people teach here are very different, like either by IB or curriculum, like Cambridge.
What is one difference about school here that you hate?
People teach very strictly and very like demanding in a way, which is something I just don't really like.
What's one thing that you love about school here?
The thing I love about school here is how the food here is so fresh and very like locally sourced and like organic, and how back in LA where I lived, school just came out like a box, and they were just like, here you go, here's your food. And you know, here it's very fresh, and you know, it's like hot and it's like eatable. In Portugal, that surprised me is like how many people speak English here and how good the food is here. So many people speak English like very well, and I thought like, okay, no one's gonna speak English. This is gonna be really hard, and it is still hard learning the Portuguese language. But people do speak very good English, which is really helpful, and the food here is really, really good.
What's one thing you miss about home?
One thing I miss about home is the neighborhood and the house I lived in. One thing I don't miss about home is that, I don't know, sometimes it felt very unsafe, and that's one thing I don't really miss about home. I think the biggest benefit, I think there's two for me. I think that one, like, how safe it is here. And also I think, like, how close Portugal is to other countries, so you can travel more easily and more quickly. Biggest negative, I think, is that, you know, missing your friends and family. You know, that's really, really hard. It doesn't hit you until like you're gone. You know, you kind of like almost like it's like a wall, and then once you're gone, it kind of just like breaks. You know, you all of a sudden realize like, oh God, like my friends aren't here. The things I had in my life back home aren't here. You know, and I think that just takes a while to get used to. What I'm most looking forward to, I think there's three things. I think the food, like eating more food and like discovering new types of food and cuisine here. I think also learning more about like the language and the history here. I also, you know, traveling. I know I've said it a bunch, but traveling to like different places, learning about the history and why this place is here, and how maybe it connects to Portugal in a way.
What's one piece of advice you would have for someone who's your age and is moving abroad with their family?
I think it's more just about like preparing yourself, because it is a very emotional experience. I think try to spend as much quality time as your friends, people that you care about, as much as possible, because you're not going to see them for who knows how long. Try to understand why your family's doing this and how it's okay, because it may seem very negative, but there are some good parts about it. And I think trying to understand how, you know, Portugal works, or whatever country you're moving to, you know, learn about that country, research, look at the things that you may want to look forward to, you know, like see if there's any food places you like there, if there's any like, you know, fun programs that you like there, and also research schools you maybe want to go to and show them to your parents so they can schedule appointments when you're there. I think that's really important.
What's one thing a parent of someone your age can do to help their kid with this transition?
Communicating to them is very important, and I think also why you're doing this, why it's okay. Show them the benefits, like, because they may be very anti this, and if you maybe show them cool schools you've seen, maybe show them fun programs near there, maybe show them how you can travel on the holidays like you did before, finding sports or finding clubs that maybe they're interested in. I think that'll really persuade them and help them.
How long do you think it will take for someone your age to get used to their new country?
I think it honestly just depends on how willing you are to this, and also like how well you do with change. So honestly, the answer for me is I don't know.
Do you think that you could eventually be happy and find things that you love about this new country as much as you did about your old country?
I think that's a really hard question to answer. I think time and baby steps and, thinking about why you did this and who you are and how you're going to be stronger in the end because of it. Thanks for coming to our channel. Like and subscribe.